Hello traders, today is Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. I'm going to start with 8 names today. As per usual, keep in mind this is not financial advice, it's basically educational content or entertainment content. If you are thinking about investing or risking any of your capital, I strongly suggest doing some due diligence or some research before you risk any of your capital. That being said, let's start with the same name we started yesterday. And yesterday I said something that kind of didn't work out in my opinion, or maybe it did, I don't know. What I said was that I had my doubts that by today we were going to go under 25. However, I also said that if we go under 225, our next our support level would be the 35 SMA. We're not at that point yet, but I'm a little bit surprised that Apple had such a bumpy start of the day and kind of end up a little bit strong. But you were up in this area right here. You went up. No, this was actually your closing candle from the day before, and then you were right down here in the beginning. I did actually buy a couple of calls, nothing big, right in this area right here, and then I did sell around the 35 SMA. After that, I left it alone and I was looking at other tickets such as HIMS or Amazon and whatnot. But anyways, it kept going up, went over the 200 SMA, then went under, and then it actually had a pretty good collapse, I would say, all the way down to 224, I'm sorry. And kind of double bottom here. And again, this is a 1 minute chart. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? There's not a lot of structure in this chart, in my opinion, no matter how you want to see it. But anyways, then it bounced a little bit here, and then it actually had some strength. I did buy some calls in somewhere in this area right here, and I'm leaving them for tomorrow as a swing. I know this position is small, so I'm not too worried about it, and we'll see how it behaves tomorrow. But anyways, it was basically flat. It did go under 225 today. It went all the way down to 224, but we'll see how it behaves towards the end of the week. You have the 35 crossing 35 SMA, crossing the 200 SMA on the 1 minute chart. And if we go back to the daily chart, looks like we are starting to get into this range here. We'll see if we actually stay between 225 and 233. That would be optimal for a move towards new highs later on. It's definitely not having a lot of momentum. If you take a look at the TSI, which gives you a clue about strength on the stock, the RSI is also looking down, and the MACD there's no divergence here. So there is actually not a lot of momentum. There is very low volume. So we'll see what happens here. There is a lot of liquidity in this area. So don't be surprised if you get a little bit stuck here in this area between 225 and 233. Now let's move on to the semi sector, and let's talk about AMD. And I like AMD. You're over this, what it was support at one point, resistance, I'm sorry, at one point, 161. We're also crossing the 200 SMA. So we'll see what we see tomorrow, but it looks pretty good. MU had pretty decent earnings as far as I can tell, and looks like we're going to continue going up on this sector. This sector looks pretty strong. I did put, I think, a post about AMD on X as well, and MU as well. I'll tell you a story about MU when I get to that name. But anyways, this is still looking strong. I think there is opportunity here to the upside. You have a gap to fill right here, and that is over this resistance level at 179. I think your next resistance level is 169. I said 79, I believe, 170, and then you can fill this gap. This is looking good. In my opinion, it looks very decent. The way the chart is moving, MACD and TSI are looking good as well. There's a a little bit of increase of volume as well. And then over here, you have low liquidity. So this is pretty good, if you ask me. I like AMD. I regret not buying any today, but I was, in Amazon and Apple and all that. So that's what I have for AMD. You have your support level right here at 161. Your next resistance level is 170. Let's go to, I mentioned, where are you? Bitcoin yesterday, and I'm gonna mention Bitcoin again. So let's do Bitcoin, and we're still having a hard time going over the 200 SMA. We're now right under it. We'll see how we end, I guess, the day, or how things are looking by tomorrow. But to be honest, this is looking a little bit weak at this point. What I said yesterday, I was counting how many candles weren't able to go over the 200 SMA. The MACD and the TSI are also looking weaker than yesterday, and the RSI is almost right on the signal line. That is a little bit worrisome. The only thing that Bitcoin has going on right now is that the 35 SMA is still on its way towards meeting the 200 SMA, but at this point, I think this means nothing. If we don't break this level with momentum, and it looks like we don't have it, at least for now, we're gonna go down to at least 59. That is what I'm thinking. We're not even gonna meet the 35 SMA. That's not gonna be your support level. I think your support level right now would be 59.7. My bad. I'm having a hard time with numbers today. Anyways, we have to break the 200 SMA. If we do with momentum, yes, we go to 67.3. If not, we're probably gonna get here stuck going down to 59.7. That's my level. After that, we can reassess, and maybe I'll make a different video for that. Anyways, let's move on to another name that I was looking at today with a little bit of I was feeling bad for whomever. There were a lot of traders saying that this was the bottom, and now Celsius is a buy. I did a post on X saying that this was a stairway to hell, and I think it is. I do believe that Celsius is gonna hit, if I could see, it's gonna go under 30. But let's get rid of this and let's move on this. Yeah, I have a level at 27. So there's where I am on Celsius right now. It doesn't look good at all. It keeps losing momentum. I haven't seen any positive news or any news at all on Celsius, and it seems like the market is just, at least for now, giving up on this name. Even though it's a solid name, my understanding is, and they still have inventory issues that were basically caused by Pepsi or something. So they have issues with placing in stores, basically shelf space, real estate space, which is the shelf real estate, what I would say, in stores. And they also have a problem with inventory. So we'll see what happens. And there is also a lot of news about the fact that they have so much caffeine and these drinks are unhealthy and blah, blah, blah. Celsius is not doing well. I do believe that 27 is very realistic at this point. I do not recommend buying this to the downside or upside at this point. I think this is one of these things and you have to let it play out. And once you have something that tells you that there is a reversal coming up, there might be an opportunity. But for now, I would leave it the hell alone. This stock should be... I guess I'm not going to mention it until I see the reversal. So this is probably the last time I mention Celsius. Let's move on to, where are we? I'm going to mention HIMS again. And if I could find, okay. So I still like HIMS. I would love to see a little more momentum. But at the same time, this is exactly what I said when we were here. So I guess I'm going to repeat myself. I want to see more momentum, but I'm also okay seeing a little bit of redness because that gives you a healthier move, either if it's, I guess, to the downside or the upside. In this case, it's to the upside. You had this rebound on the 200 SMA almost, or basically you can say on the 13, 16 support level. You went up. Now you got right over the 35 SMA. I think we're still going to keep going towards 18.7. However, I would appreciate seeing a little more volume coming in. But in general, I think this week so far, the market hasn't seen enough volume coming in. So it's been choppy. all over the place, with the exception of some names that were performing, but that is pretty common. I do believe that HIMS is gonna continue going towards 1873. The chart is still looking good. MACD is looking okay. RSI, TSI is looking good, and the RSI is also looking good. And the reason why I'm a little bit, I guess, hesitant on the MACD is because the histogram is also showing you a little bit of weakness. But other than that, I think if we catch a little bit of momentum, I think they close a little bit strong or not. Let's see. That's a 5 minute, and let's fix this. Not really. I mean, it came back throughout the day. Am I looking at the right? No, it actually didn't. That's yesterday. Today was pretty much flat. Yeah, it was totally flat. So yeah, I don't dislike it. Again, I don't mind seeing a little bit of red and then green, a little bit of red, just like move slowly towards 18.7. And the reason why I think that way is because if it actually rips, let's say, all the way up to 20 or something like that, it is expected to have a very similar reaction to the opposite way. So anyways, I like seeing this moving slow. I think that is a good sign. But just keep an eye on this name if you're on it, because it tends to be volatile as well. Let's move on to another name, and this is something funny that I wasn't planning today, and it worked out my way. So MU had, and I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea that earnings were today. So let's go to the 4-hour chart, and let's take a look at extended hours. Look at this. So today, towards the end of the day, probably around, let's go to the 1 minute chart. Somewhere around here, if we could see it more clearly, would be nice. Somewhere in this area, sorry for this. Okay, now it's good. Somewhere in this area, right before end of day or right before earnings, somewhere around here, I bought one call. And my thought process was, I was looking at the daily chart, and it was looking pretty, and I mentioned this yesterday, I like the fact that this is moving with strength towards a 35 SMA, towards 200 SMA, or towards this resistance level at 107. So I was like, well, I'm going to buy one, and then tomorrow I'm going to increase my position and start buying maybe 4 tomorrow. And then I do that sometimes. I just start very small, and then if I see confirmation, then I start buying more, and I build a position up to 20 contracts, depending what I'm buying, depending on the price and whatnot. But in this case, I bought one today towards the end of the day. I was kind of busy, so I wasn't really thinking much about that. I was just buying based upon what I was seeing on the daily chart, and I left it alone. But something that I totally missed was an earnings word today. I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea that earnings were today. So I got back into my computer after one, and I looked in X, and I think it was Trend Spider or something like that, that they were saying that they were up 12% or 10%. So then I took a look at the chart, and yeah, they're up right now 14.5%. That is pretty cool. Obviously, tomorrow I'm not going to buy. I'm not going to increase my position. Let's go back to the 4 hour. We are 107. That is incredible. We are at this level already, so I'm probably going to sell tomorrow that one contract that I have. I mean, it was kind of funny that I saw today that, I was thinking I'm going to build a nice position here, probably get up to 20 contracts or something like that. And, but I'm going to start with one. And little that I knew, this went up 14% after hours. I didn't notice. Had no idea that earnings were today. And it played out on my I guess in my favor, but I wish I would have bought more, obviously, but my thought process was different, and here we are. It's up 14.39%. That is pretty cool. We'll see what is that if there is no Ivy flash with tomorrow, which I doubt. We'll see what is the percentage gains that I have on that position. It's gonna be interesting. I will probably sell within the first few minutes of day trading, but yeah, that's what I got on MU. I think you're gonna have a gap towards this area, so you might see a little bit of red trying to catch up a little bit, and then it's gonna move. There is very low liquidity here, so this thing is gonna move. It's gonna be super volatile in my opinion, but I got lucky, I guess. You know, my intention was, I was thinking this is just gonna move very smoothly towards 107. So let's build a position between I guess tomorrow or today that I bought one and Friday, and then, you know, let it work for a couple of weeks or so. Let's see when was the expiration date on that contract. Yeah, I actually bought a November 1st contract. So yeah, I was thinking about giving it some time, but I only bought one. Okay, it is what it is, but I'm happy. I'm still happy. I was laughing. Let's take a look at NQ, and we're still right at this resistance level, which is 20.277, so 20,277. That is our resistance level right now. I think if we break this, we're going to all-time highs. There is no liquidity here, so there's a MACD and TSI are not looking bad. The histogram is looking like a little bit weak, but there is definitely volume. Let's go to the 15-minute, and yeah, you had these dips yesterday. It got bought up again, went down, it got bought up again. So we are moving. There is definitely some momentum going on, and I like seeing that. We'll see what tomorrow brings, but it seems like some sectors are starting to wake up again, and that is probably gonna move the NASDAQ into higher levels. I'm being a little bit more positive, I guess, from where I'm seeing. Things are moving a little bit more normal. But yeah, in this whole sector, the micro sector, for example, is behaving pretty positive. Nvidia was up 2%. AMD was up. What was it? 2% as well. Yeah, 2.34%. Let's take a quick look at how SMH is looking. SMH, yeah, it's not bad at all. So yeah, I think that you know, based upon what we are seeing, we might see a little more momentum. I wish there was more volume though, but for at least for now, it's not happening. That's what I have for NQ, and let's finish this video with the same ticker that I finished the video with yesterday, and that is Tesla. I'm not gonna lie, I do have a Tesla position. This is a position. This is an investment. I'm not selling it yet. I'm gonna wait, and I have time to wait, so I'm good with it. And but I guess what I was saying about Tesla is, and this whole move looks much better than this move. It's more solid. There's more consistency on it. Yeah, there is a little bit of choppiness, but there is more consistency as far as how these things were moving to the upside, while indicators were basically neutral. That is pretty good. Indicators in this area right now as well are not actually behaving with this kind of extension, for example. There's not a lot of divergence, but there is still momentum. This is looking pretty good. Today we were up 1%. Let's go to the 5-minute and see how things were behaving. Yeah, you had a nice run in the beginning, you got choppy, you ran a little bit again, and then you were surfing on the 35 SMA. That is pretty good. You got over on the 35 SMA, over the 200 SMA, and you stayed right there. And after hours, this looks like it's flat. Anyways, I'm not worried too much about after hours unless it's a move like the one you're seeing on MU, for example. After hours, look at CELH is almost 5%. Yeah, this sector is moving strong, but let's focus on Tesla. I like Tesla. I like the fact that it's moving aggressively, but it's not going too crazy. We'll see what we get by October 10th, which is a robotaxi day. And then you have earnings, you have deliveries, you have earnings, you have all that stuff going on. So by then we're probably going to be at 265, maybe a little bit over. And if anything bad is said about Tesla, where if it's earnings, where if it's deliveries, or where if it's the robotaxi and people doesn't like whatever Tesla is presenting, this is going to tank. Don't be surprised about it. But so far, out of what I'm seeing, it's looking really good. I mean, man, we were calling this for a while. I called it right here. That was a crazy move. I was calling it right here and right here again. I guess what I was also saying, you have a pretty wide range between 233 and 186. Now, I guess my range is 225 and 265. That's what I have for you, traders. Thank you very much. Subscribe and like. That's all I got for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.